Hi, hello, welcome. I'm always like so creative before I hit the go live button, and then I forget everything. I was gonna do a whole like, hi, welcome to the iced coffee something. I forgot the iced coffee something. And then I was gonna be like, I'm Oracle Real Croak, and something about keeping all arms legs. See, I forgot. It flows so smooth when I'm not thinking about it. Anyways, hi, hello everyone. Welcome. It is Sunday, September the 15th, 2024. I guess. Sunday the 15th, you know what that means. So, anyway, let's pull some cards and see what's up. I wish like I could just pull stuff up. Because I remember we're about to have the full moon Pisces lunar eclipse. And I feel like it may have been under the Taurus Scorpio eclipse axis when there was something about Pisces Virgo. But at the same time, I feel like when it was Gemini, maybe not. Maybe towards the tail end of Gemini Sagittarius, there was something about Aries Libra. Like I feel like rarely the next season. It's usually like season after next. Like in what Gemini season, there may have been something about like um or was that Aries season that had something to do with Gemini season? I don't, I don't know. Anyway, I have the four kins, and we're just gonna see what's up. I'm gonna try my best to just communicate the message and not overcomplicate it with all of that Patrick nonsense. And by Patrick nonsense, I mean like be mindful of this, watch out for that. Uh, we as humans typically XYZ, so I can see ABC being, ooh, the spider. I can see ABC being a potential like complication. You could just take it as it resonates, and we do our best. We fill in the gaps on our own. We'll see what comes out. We'll see what happens. I do have the book. I mean, I always have the books for the archetypes and alchemy, but I also have it for the animals. Animals, archetypes, and alchemy. Wow. Just to see what's up. Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck with the Empress 3/3. Interesting. The Three of Swords in this deck in particular, to me, now it's the Empress and the Ace of Cups. Yeah. I turned off the overhead light. Hey Holly, how you doing? I turned off the overhead light and I had this light on and I forgot how not great the lighting looks, but it's warm today. So this is where we are. Chiron and Ash. Excuse me. Chiron and Charon. And the sun, what? Whoa. Let's see. The shadow and the shaman. The shadow shaman. Cool. The vow and the shaman. All right. What are we looking at? The lunar eclipse. I'm really kind of sad because I had a whole thing. I don't even remember. It was the iced coffee something because I'm drinking iced coffee. the mouse at the bottom of the deck. So is this for just general Pisces, lunar eclipse messages? Bottom of the deck. This is such an interesting energy. The moth and the hummingbird. It feels like it's dark or it's nighttime, and the moth is almost like a fairy. You know how like moths are drawn to flames, but it's like the moth is drawn to these candles, and the candles are like doorways, but they're not, but they are. And the candle is unlit until it's like the moth kisses the wick. You know how like a butterfly may land on like a flower or something? And so the moth is like fluttering through the night from place to place. And again, it's like everywhere the moth visits, there's a light that comes on. So let's get an archetype. Apocalypse in the hunter. It would be hilarious if the flame came out. Well, not really, because oop, number 38 came out in reverse. Number six. I mean, are these reversed? They were upside down. Oh, kind of like that. And it's like pretty much after the month or as it is, it doesn't matter. This is like the moth slash the mentor flying through what I would assume to be a village at night. And again, it's like everywhere the moth visits, the light comes on as it's making its flight through the night. The card that came out is the bridge. Wow. And then let's do tarot, the owl at the bottom of the deck. Oh, the page of swords. And we just had an owl. Oh, under the owl is the unseen. And then under that is the offering. The unseen offering. This is 27. Oh, 38, not 28. And 44. LX40 IV4. There's the unseen offering. Here's the bridge. So there's something, it's like the hand is being held out. And then in its flight, the moth is acknowledging the other. The moth is acknowledging a brain and words and words and brains. If the offering is suitable, quote unquote, then it's like there's this exchange that happens or this connection that happens. This is like the light turning on when it's sort of like met, this unseen offering. And that's how the mentor or the moth knows. This is drawing very familiar imagery to mind of a marking that signifies something and a spirit that travels by night that acknowledges that marking. Page of Swords with the lights in the nighttime sky. I guess we get no context either. Temperance with that Page of Swords. The moon in Temperance. That's Pisces, Sagittarius, and then the Tower, which is Mars. Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter is in Gemini question mark still. Mars just went into Cancer. The Two of Cups and the Three of Swords at the cut. The Three of Swords in this deck for me is a doorway, a passageway that is blocked by pain. And once we can resolve whatever this Three of Swords is, then this area becomes accessible. Now, what's interesting is that on this, and then there's the Six of Swords, Three of Swords, Six of Swords. There's so much, well, between the red and the pink, there's like barely contrast. Between the orange and the yellow, it's bigger. And these blues, it's like one side is blue, one side is green. This looks like a tiny hand to me. That tiny hand is reminding me of the Starborn from the Leap Day readings. Oh, there's a rainbow on the Six of Swords. I missed it. A rainbow bridge. Somebody just referenced the rainbow bridge. I think someone had lost a dog. I think the dog had done one of those things that dogs do, where when they know that they're reaching the end of their life, sometimes they'll like run away to pass, just like not in the presence of their loved ones, I guess. I don't know. And then that Two of Cups again, Temperance and the Two of Cups. So somebody, they said that they crossed the rainbow bridge, and then the Four of Wands. You can't see any of these. I'm just like loving how they're shuffling today. Honestly, we're just gonna keep going until something comes in. Because that is the name of the game. That is too many things. The star at the bottom of the deck. The Mother of Cups, the Five of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Mother of Swords, and the Hermit all flipped over. Again, this Mother of Cups has the same sort of stars in the sky as the Age of Swords, Daughter of Swords. Sorry. It's interesting that the Queen of Swords, Mother of Swords, is here because something about the offering and the bridge. There was a Queen of Swords energy that came out recently, and I cannot remember why. But it was like holding the sword in one hand, but also like beckoning, welcoming something at the same time. And like the bridge is here. I'm playing a game right now, and there's a story. Our characters need to go to the land of Earth to seek the blessing of the Earth Elemental Spirit. And they reach a free city. In the free city, you find people of all different walks of life. And the only rule in the free city, I forget what it was, but it's like everything belongs to everyone in the free city. Like houses, clothes, whatever. They all share their wealth so that all are wealthy in the free city. But anyway, they need to leave from the free city to go to the kingdom of earth, but there's a wall of water that stops anyone from trying to leave. And there's a story about two lovers who like reach out their hands towards one another. I guess in the story, one told the other that they would never let go of their hand. But like the fact that they're reaching out to one another means that they ended up letting go at some point. And they were like these giant, I guess more like kappas than turtles, but the tortoise is here. Anyway, it feels like the Mother of Cups is in a, like the Mother of Cups has some kind of vision or has some kind of knowing. Right. So like if there is a list of places for the moth to visit, the Mother of Cups is the one who can discern in the dark which places the moth will go. I don't know if the Mother of Cups is necessarily the director, but it's feeling like an energy of some kind of like rank or position. Now the Five of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, it could be like uh excuse me, I don't know if they're all gonna be Five of Cups. But the Five of Cups in the SKT is the grotesque. The grotesque makes more sense here because so the grotesque is the thing within us. It's the image of the creator that we were made in. I just saw something about divine spark somewhere. I feel like I was reading it. I don't remember where, but it said like the divine spark is the fire of the creator within us, right? And that's very much so what the Five of Cups, the grotesque, and the SKT is about. So it's like that's those are these lights in the dark. It's like these sparks within people that are bright enough to be seen. It's like they're not necessarily in within whatever context. And I know I said I'm going to try not to do this, but they're not necessarily so bright that they become suns. I don't know in some ways if it was necessarily for them to be. but they don't lose their like luster in the nighttime. And that's how the mother of cups can see them. That's how the moth knows where to go. I guess that is the unseen offering. Because again, it is like a moth to a flame, but it doesn't look like the flame is visible until after the moth visits and like kisses the wick. So then that spark then begins to grow with the Ace of Pentacles. And then we end up with the Mother of Swords and the Hermit. Now, unlike the Mother of Cups and the Daughter of Swords, the Mother of Swords is more daytime coded, just like the Ace of Pentacles, I guess. And all of the other cards are more. I mean, in the Five of Cups and the Moth, it is like a day is breaking, but they're more so nighttime coded, like in the dark. And that's also where this bridge, where this connection is happening. It's in the dark. Still, this Mother of Swords. Something about the Mother of Swords and the Hermit. I guess the Mother of Swords being the Queen of Swords and the Hermit, it could be a time of like faded connections or a time where like certain projects are really gonna like get started or like they're gonna be introduced to the public in some kind of way because it's giving like a light beating a light. Do I need an alchemy for this? I mean, I guess I'm gonna nope, get one. Cool. Looks like two cards flipped over. Oh, excuse me. The bottom of the deck is the red and white rose that has the. I feel like we see this card more and more and more here off lately. Here lately. Magnum Opus and Winter. 61 and 16, right? LXI 61, XVI 16. 61 and 16 came out together. Magnum Opus and Winter. This is such an interesting combination. It's almost like this is something that can bloom even in the wintertime. Hey, how you doing? This is something that blooms even in the wintertime. And because it's almost like because it blooms even in the wintertime, you can tell that whatever is the source of the vitality of this, it's not dependent upon like the seasons or the external world in some way or external cycles, visible cycles. But there are also, like, I remember Eve mentioning Christmas cactuses and how they always bloom around Christmas. And it's like, how do they know when it's Christmas? And it's because of Christmas is after the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere. And so it's when the nights get shorter. Because if you're tracking nighttime hours, there's a certain period, like the nights get longer and longer and longer and longer until the solstice. But after the solstice, they get shorter until you hit an equinox and like the same. But from winter to summer solstice, the nights get shorter. And then from summer to winter, they get longer. So maybe that has something to do with it in terms of um it's how there's a sense that a long winter or that winter in general doesn't have to be a long one. There's a sense that winter is coming to an end. But it feels like it's so to some premature that it would be like perplexing or confusing because Christmas is what a few days after the solstice. So at that point, you could say the nights are still like the longest they're ever going to be. So something here speaks to subtlety or a subtle sense. Luke's Brumalis. What is Brumalis? This makes me think of the Brahm room for some reason. So it's like this sweeping light. I guess you could say it's the point where light begins to sweep away the darkness. But again, like barely. Interesting. I want to read Winter. I kind of want to just know what Brumalis is. Solace the pause, the hermit. Oh, the hermit and the hermit. Oh, OMG. Yeah, that's cute. Maybe that was it. In alchemy, winter comes first. It is the beginning, the origin. As winter casts its blanket of stillness across the land, we naturally turn inward. The mind and heart settle into Earth's darkest season. From this place of quiet, a single flame reconnects us to the mystery of our existence and the miracle of the breath. Regardless of when this card appears, it indicates we are suspended in Mother Earth's pause. This is not the time for doing, going, or getting. The alchemist knows winter opens the portal to the divine. Magic is afoot under the surface. In the glimmering snow and sparkling ice, we see winter's water in crystalline form, each droplet a prism into the mystic realm. Don't get caught up in the gloom or isolation of this season. Rather, spin toward the sacred light. Spring will come in time. Winter is ruled by the element of water and the cardinal direction of north. Notice if this card appears with other cards with a watery or wintry feel. It is said winter is the pause between exhale and inhale, the time when all has released, yet new birth has not been drawn. New breath, sorry. New breath has not been drawn. Notice the qualities of this sacred pause. Cool. Are we done here? Sure. Blah 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 blah. Really? I feel like I still this Mother of Swords feels like outside of all of this. I guess the Mother of Swords could be the one that waits on the other side of this quote unquote transformation. Because the Mother of Cups can discern in the nighttime those lights. And it doesn't feel like the Mother of Swords is incapable of doing the same, but maybe there's a difference. It's like to see it's like to see the light at night is not necessarily atypical because when the sun is absent, it becomes easy to see a lot of things. I mean, there are more things yet still that we can't see, but for something that carries even the slightest bit of luminosity and the heart of midnight, it becomes much easier to see those things. But there's something about when something either carries over into the daytime or when something is still observable in daytime that lets the Mother of Swords know that whatever her part is, like whatever part she plays or whatever she's looking for or whatever she sort of initiates or heralds or harbinges, is that a word? Like that's her cue. Her cue is in the daytime. And it's observable when that spark begins to sprout. Because again, Ace of Pentacles is like it brings it out into the daytime. Sure. We'll see. What is let's put all this up here. I'll put the Hermit up here. What is the Mother of Swords looking for? Do I go for an animal? Sure. Let's do it. I wonder too if like maybe the Mother of Swords is the Libra. Libra new moon solar eclipse. Like this happens under the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. The moth kisses several wicks that ignite. And then maybe it's maybe there's something between the lunar and the solar eclipse that makes it difficult to maintain the flame. Like the hermit. But it's like if the flame can remain lit until the solar eclipse, then that's the signal or the sign that the Mother of Swords is looking for. The crow and the fire ants, the mouse and the crow, the dolphin and the mouse. Maybe we're gonna keep going until well, I'll give it three more. Okay. We're gonna go to another deck and we're doing archetype, I guess. Well, no. We'll do this. Alchemy. We're an alchemy card. Uh, and I guess this alchemy will be the sign. Because again, this flower that blooms in the dead of winter, it falls more in line with the lights that are seen at night. So, is there an alchemy? We'll do an alchemy and an archetype of what this Mother of Swords energy recognizes. Immediately, two cards come out: antimony and darkening. This is 12 and 17. Bottom of the deck is saffron sugar. So antimony darkening, civis and melanosis is the alchemy that the Queen of Swords recognizes. And the archetype that she recognizes is, I'm like shuffling these face down. Oh, did something flip over? It did. Two cards flipped over. In between, three cards flipped over. In between the mentor and the mirror. I was shuffling like face down, and then three cards. Or I was shuffling them face up. Three cards flipped over face down. The mirror is number 68, which is 30 more than the 38 of the bridge. The bridge and the mirror. And again, both hands are outstretched, outreached. This is, if either one of these palms were closed, then the circuit wouldn't be like complete or whatever. But this is also, is this a thing in circuitry? It's like, so I'm envisioning a circuit and there are two like magnetic, not magnetic, two metal balls, I guess. And it's like it's supposed to arc. Usually, with that much distance or separation in a circuit, it would be effectively open and you would get no charge because it can't complete the circuit. But it's like when it reaches this dead end, it's supposed to arc from one end to the other. So it crosses a void, it crosses a vacuum, it crosses not necessarily conductive media medium, which is interesting because I was gonna say like keep any arms, legs, or anything that you don't want to lose on the path because anything beyond that, I'm not liable for. That was part of the whole spiel that I was gonna do, but I like forgot once I clicked away. Like at your own risk. But it's meant to arc. Interesting. It doesn't sound very reliable. I feel like it wouldn't be something that we think of as reliable. But it's like there are ways to encourage electromagnetic flow. So in my mind, I don't know if this is how it works IRL or not in real life, but it's like if each end is charged enough, then they'll create like an electromagnetic field. And when their electromagnetic fields overlap, that's when something can arc from one to the other. And I guess lightning arcs between clouds or something, right? I'm not a meteorologist or an atmospheric scientist. I don't know. But it's like one thing has its own electromagnetic field and the other has its own electromagnetic field. And again, when the magnitude of those fields is great enough, then you don't need something conductive to carry the charge. It's like it just arcs between those two fields. And then that creates almost like a plasma channel. Okay. Let's read these two first, shall we? Antimony and melanosis. And then we'll flip over the face down. Who is this? 27 and 12. Didn't we have 28? We've seen 28. What's 28? Or was it in the archetypes? No, I don't think it was in that. It might have been in the archetype, actually. No, 28 here is wise salt. Maybe it was in the archetype. 28 here is the shadow. I remember seeing the shadow at the cut at whatever point that was. You see the creases in that? Oof. 27. Antimony. This is wildness, fierceness, and hunger. In medieval times, antimony became known as the grey wolf of alchemy. This was due to the metalloid's unpredictable qualities and its ability to eat away at materials in the laboratory. Gold is one of the few materials to withstand contact with it. For these reasons, this card must be read with delicacy. On one hand, it represents the wild and free spirit that longs to express itself in the world. On the other hand, it represents a fierceness that can turn destructive or corrosive at the drop of a hat. The message here is clear: channel the gray wolf's energy toward creativity, challenge it to come out from the shadows. Ha ha, there's the shadow, and express itself. Embark on the creative project or adventure that's calling you, rather than focusing on why you can't. Once you begin, don't quit. The gray wolf responds to respect, not repression. To go deeper, read Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. To ponder corrosion as medicine. I feel like, I mean, who hasn't talked about women who run with the wolves? But maybe it was Rain that talked about it recently. Or maybe it was somebody on I follow on Instagram who was, wait a minute, I don't Melanosis, depth, readiness, and churning. In alchemy, darkness is an achievement. It indicates the material has been through a significant occurrence, sometimes called an initiatory experience, that has brought it into a state of readiness for the work. The darkness prepares us. We've moved beyond the small talk and chit chat of the upper world and descended into the psychic layers of the soul. We admit who we are fully and bravely, and thus open ourselves to the process of transformation. When this card appears, it's not necessary to delve into what brought you here. The initiation, likely by fire, that has caused the embers to char. Rather, it's time to heal, and darkness is the remedy. Closing your eyes is a voluntary expression of darkening. By practicing it daily, we drop into the depths and surrender. As the alchemist's eye adjusts, transformation begins. So even before this, there's like this gray wolf, this light is corroding the darkness. It's eating away at the dark. And I feel like that's such an interesting way to put, because again, it was that like there are things that are, even things that are like barely luminescent are visible in the absence of the sun. They're visible at nighttime. Things that you may not even notice in the daytime. And comparison isn't like, it's not about comparing, it's not about comparison, but it is almost about like what is observable, right? And so there's something that the Queen of Swords, Mother of Swords, is waiting to see or observe at night that the Mother of Cups knows is there in the darkness. And again, it's interesting that the alchemy that the Mother of Swords is what it's, again, it's reading like something that corrodes darkness, something that eats away at the night. And maybe corrodes isn't necessarily the best way to put it. Like it's corrosive by nature, but it could be something that like transmutes, right? It's like an air purifier. If there are like charcoal filters or whatever filters are in the air purifier, it's like as not as pre purified air passes through that series of filters, there's like a transformation that happens to the air because of the things that are trapped in the filters. And then you get purified air on the other side. Now, you could say that the filters corrode that unpurified air, but it's like it wouldn't necessarily, it's not that it wouldn't make sense to say it that way. It just wouldn't be, I feel like, the way that we mostly perceive it. And again, I'm trying not to delve too deep into perceptions. But I did see something, it was a short or a reel. Yeah, it was like a short, a reel, or an Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I was like scrolling yesterday. I would go from like Facebook shorts or Facebook videos or whatever to reels on Instagram to shorts on YouTube. Um, but there was someone with a speech impediment who had gotten like really good at not saying words with a certain letter because they were like self-conscious about the impediment, and the person couldn't figure out what letter it was because they had gotten so good at using like other words that didn't involve that letter. I guess the joke at the end of it was that their name had the letter in it, so they couldn't say their own name without revealing the impediment. But it's just that it's more so just how we can like phrase things in other ways to avoid saying something in a certain kind of way. I remember recorders. That was fun. That was a fun time. That was as close as I got to being a musician. um, And I'm sure there are several ways to corrode the dark. But maybe this corrosion of darkness, it's read as like an aura of light because any darkness that is in or around whatever the Mother of Swords is looking for, again, it's like it gets corroded. So it's almost like if you were to see it at night, it would look like this because it would have, and again, maybe it's a different field, maybe it's similar to the electromagnetic field that causes things to arc. Anyway, let's look at our three. We'll do all three at once and try to reveal it to you. The empty room, the castle, and the desert. This is so interesting. The empty room in the castle. This is 52-53. Look at the, sorry, 42-43. Um, so this alchemy corrodes the darkness in the empty room and reveals it to be the castle. And then the desert is 37. The 37 that is one before the 38. And we see this hand that is like under this black moon, sort of reaching up in the desert. Excuse me. 42, 43, 37, 38. It's interesting that all of the archetypes on the table are archetypes of place, almost meaning or emphasizing that it's a state that we reach or a place within self that we reach. So the Queen of Swords, Mother of Swords, would see the hand because look at her background. The stripy lines reminds me of the desert. So her energy is almost. I feel like it's one that you would more attribute to like the vulture. Because aren't like vultures and buzzards in the desert? I don't know too many owls that are out in the desert. You can find a Christmas cactus in the desert. Maybe, maybe that's their natural habitat, right? Wow. But it's like this is what the Mother of Swords sees as like these hands or body parts poke out of the desert. But it's like we would have to corrode the darkness of the empty room to reach this space. And again, what's interesting is you have these like outreached hands. Now let's try to get an animal. The bat and the dragon. Interesting combination. There you go. The dragon. The dragon. Oh gosh. Is that the tiger? The elephant. Notice how the elephant cradles the flame. So again, maybe if I had seen this before any of this, I wouldn't have gotten it. This fire corrodes the night around it by illumination. Bottom of the deck is the octopus. And the octopus just gives a really interesting sort of edge, uh, perspective to this. That like there are multiple ways to corrode the night, but it feels like on one hand it's just symbolically that there are multiple ways to go about doing it, but it also feels like this is one individual or one substance, one thing that is able to corrode the night in multiple ways, right? Like you could say that teachers corrode the night because they help people reach understanding. You could say trailblazers corrode the night because they, again, bring things from the unknown into the known or from the unexplored into the explored. Again, there are multiple ways. There's something about the orb in this card, though. Like it feels like this was a black snake, but something about that orb is able to like absorb darkness. So that orb absorbed all the darkness that was in this snake. And that's one way that this corrodes at the night by like consuming it or cool. Maybe this is about carving a trail. It's very like I feel like for as extensive an effort or as grand as an ability, this whatever recognition is in the nighttime, what we see above the or what is visible above the surface may not necessarily be an accurate portrayal. And again, it feels like this mother of sorts is looking for like anything above the surface with an understanding of, again, what is seen above the surface doesn't necessarily have any bearing on the amount of work or what would be able to be seen below it. I also saw a real, it was a whatever they're called on Facebook. I saw a Facebook video of a lady explaining petrichor and how in places of drought, this is what she said in the video. She said in places of drought, plants will like secrete oils to let seeds know that there's like not a lot of rain fall. So it's basically like they'll secrete oils to let seeds know, like, hey, don't bloom yet because it's rough out here. It's rough out here, and if you bloom right now, you may not make it because the environment is not conducive to grow. But within the context of rain, she said that when it rains, all of like a lot of those oils are water soluble, basically. So when it rains, it'll wash out the oils, and so in the absence of those oils, the seeds will know, okay, like it's safe to break ground and like sprout and grow. The only oh, the bridge is watery. The bridge is watery. Winter said to look for watery environments, and the bridge is right here. And the mother of cups, father cups are here. Cool. It's almost very I've seen a few shows uh where there's like magic involved, and usually it's like a school or a place of teaching, and they'll be given something, and it's like use magic to make this thing grow or whatever. And again, it's like any any success, like any degree of success is a success type of energy. And I guess I'll end this with a tarot because I ain't done it yet. Since we started with the Mother of Swords, I'll give it three shuffles if nothing comes out. Then we'll just end it. One, oh, okay, two, three. Bottom of the deck is the Devil. Interesting. Oh, this is a lot of cards. Four of Swords, Father of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, and Justice. When it comes to this Mother of Swords, however this manifests externally or however this manifests in the daytime is how it manifests. Like this lamb, this sheep is feeling like she's giving telekinesis. And these swords that are just like there was maybe the Knight of Swords, the deck dungeon challenge of the Knight of Swords gave there's like a dancing sword or something. It's that energy. I know it came out in a reading at some point that I do not remember or recall. Let me see if I can check real quick. Let's see. Let's go into the files, go into the download. It should be right there. There it is. Do, 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 do. I went right to the moon. There's the hangman. 30 is the hangman. I forgot to say that. So the difference between the 38 and 68 of the bridge and whatever 68 was, it's the hangman. Let's see. I think it was the Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords. And it's the Queen of Swords actually. Mother of Swords, Queen of Swords. There she is. Let's see. I'll read it real quick. The Queen of Swords encourages creatures to pass through her room swiftly, pausing only for a moment to offer them the benefits of telepathic bond for 10 days. She is impatient and curt. If they do not respond immediately, she withdraws the offer and requests that they depart. If all her requests are met quickly, the Queen offers a dancing sword as thanks. The door in the Queen's room is unlocked. Ooh, she says, "Oh, it's no time." Something about that telepathic bond feels uh, resonant for some reason in some way, or it feels like applicable in some reason, for some reason in some way. I don't know if that plays into the overlapping electromagnetic fields that causes the arcing. Oh, maybe it was because the telekinesis here of the dancing sword, but it's actually her gift is a dancing sword. And a dancing sword is a sword that dances through the air. Cool. Excuse me. There it is, the dead bird of the desert. Death. 13, which is the mirror to the 31 of sweetness. That is sugar. Oop. That Queen of Swords said, quickly. Interesting. Something that is corrosive to the night. I guess the moth is kind of like that. As the moth goes from unlit flame to unlit flame, and as each in turn alights, it eats away at the darkness. Several candles in an empty room that reveal that it's a castle. Castle is one of the words I learned on Duolingo recently. Castillo, El Castillo. Hay un castillo sobre la cama, right? Let's see. Or maybe I can say en la cama. No, sobre la cama. I don't remember castle in Japanese. Hay un castillo sobre la cama. There's a castle on the bed.
There's a castle on the
Hey. Yay. Cool. Ooh, the sword, the medallion, the prayer, and gnosis. What you know, sis? Yeah, that's gnosis. The more you know, sis. Okay. Let's whoop. Okay. All right. The self. Oh gosh. There are two face down cards, three face up cards. The self, the venom, and the siren. We just saw the venom recently. Face down is the destroyer and gnosis. That was a lot of archetypes of self. Pretty much all exclusively. The creator, the kiss, and the hunter. Oh, there's the forest. All right. So we'll get final animal first, and then we'll go through the rest of them. Cool. I bent this card. No. The octopus has sustained a bend. The octopus and the crocodile. Something about that waiting with the crocodile. The cobra, the crocodile and the cobra. The cobra dial. The hawk The hawk and the cobra is interesting because she's giving Apophis and Horus question mark. The snake and the bird. Snake representing chaos, the bird representing order. The oyster and the whale, some kind of like deep hidden whatever. All right, finally, you're first. So sorry, but we're gonna be here until one of you falls out or flips over. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the eagle. Eagle, eagle. The shark in the bag, which is interesting. Shark in the bed is such an interesting combination. I guess you could say that neither of these creatures operates primarily on sight. The bat operates on sound through echolocation. The shark operates on smell. It is said, I feel like I saw a reel. I saw another short video where they said that humans are better at detecting something than sharks are blood. I think, and I don't remember what it was, but it got into like the parts per billion. Or maybe it wasn't. There was some animal or people that could detect something better than sharks can, blood and water. And I don't remember what it was, or if it was like a joke. I don't remember. Bottom of the deck is again the eagle. Interesting. We also see the bat with the moon, the eagle with the sun. The moon is above the bat, the eagle is or the sun is below the eagle. Should we read? Sure, why not? We'll read the shark. The shop. Blue is for water. There we go. Dolphin, whale, shark. Shark directness exposure revealing true nature and desire. The shark is only dangerous when we don't acknowledge it. This card indicates that something big needs to be exposed. It's lurking in the depths and creating tension. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant to be honest. Shark energy takes over us when we are hesitant. Oh, when we are hesitant to be honest. Duh. When we are hesitant to be honest, to be totally ourselves, or to say what we really want. It may be tempting to continue pretending nothing is wrong, but when shark energy is at play, we feel its presence encircling us. So it's for the shark to acknowledge whatever it is that the bat has found. And again, neither of these creatures hunt by sight. So just because we don't see something, just because we choose to ignore it, like when we know it's there, we know it's there. If we can smell it or if we can hear it, if we can smell it or hear it within ourselves, best believe that the eagle is going to see it. type of energy, you know? And maybe that just means like it's affecting us in some way. Um, or it doesn't necessarily have to be negative because again, Mother of Swords has eyes in Mother of Cups, sorry. Mother of Cups has eyes in the dark. Legally or illegally? Or what was it? Illegal legally? Illegal legally? Eagle legally. I think Eagle I forget what it was. I don't know. Seven of Swords. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Pentacles. The Seven of Swords, for me, in this deck, is a card of birthright. But it's a birthright that we aren't necessarily entitled to. It comes with some kind of clauses. Like either the clause is you reach a certain age, or the clause is like if there's money that's left to you. But for like higher education, or if you want to open a business or whatever, it's not just money that you can take and put along whatever. But it's like through this process of inward journey, we come upon either we come upon the birthright, or our efforts are acknowledged. And then the Nine of Cups is there. I love the Nine of Cups is there. Because again, the Nine of Cups being there makes it feel like that may be the clause. Like if we were to go after something that we want, if we were to go after something that we truly want that we may view as unlikely or impossible, we may be surprised when we have more support. Even if the Nine of Cups is something like more monumental or whatever. And it's like, how can I have so much support when I'm going for this monumental task? But when I was trying to do this like small thing, I was met with so much resistance. And maybe it's like alignment, you know, alignment to what we truly desire versus what we settle for or convince ourselves that we have to. Two cards face down. We have Anima Mundi and the Unseen. The Unseen Anima Mundi, unseen spirit of the world, our soul of the world. Cool, cute, interesting. Bottom of the deck is the shadow. There's the 28. Bottom of the deck is the shadow with the unseen soul of the world. Cool. Are we gonna read those? Sure. Anima Mundi is 78. 78. So we've had 28. Oh, 28, 78. That's a difference of 50, which is temperance. And then 27. 27, 28. Oh, 27, 72. Mirrors. No, this is 78. Why did I say 72? Just kidding. 27, 28, 78. The mirror, we did see the mirror, which is interesting. 78 and 27. What is 72 now? I'm curious. 72 is agape. 78, Anima Mundi. Anima Mundi epitomizes the principle accept all, reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied embrace. Constructs of separation dissipate into the wonderful nest of shared consciousness. Anima mundi is the link between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is the connective fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken the unique light within. Oh my gosh. I was thinking earlier, I was like, is there a way for me to like just do final cards and skip the rest of the because usually it's fine. Anyway, let's continue. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. And then the unseen. 27. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees it. Wow, see, we cannot see it. You see that? We cannot see it. And again, that was the emphasis on the bat and the shark operating by senses other than sight. And it was that just because sometimes when we think something is unseen, or when we can convince ourselves that we don't see it, we seem to think of it as like either less present or less. Sometimes we think we remove or reduce something's impact by reducing or eliminating its visibility. But if we think that as a truly effective approach to anything, then all we have to do is consider the wind, you know? The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us, watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence, though it rallies our attention time and time again. The energy of the unseen may come in many forms: a compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision, or a message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near. The eternal is present. The doorway between worlds is ajar. Listen. The sounds may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers. Interesting. And then alchemy. Ba 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 ba. Ba da 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 da. Da da da. Ooh, the fog. Nebula. I remember when like nebulous was my favorite word. Everything was so like nebulous. Wow, that was immediate. Some kind of acrobat. Interesting. We go from the fog of nebula to fumous smoke. I know fumar is to smoke in Spanish. How do I say no puedes fumar aquí? You can't smoke here. No puedes fumar aquí. Oh wow. Neptune at the bottom of the deck with smoke. Fumous. This is interesting. It's interesting because usually, again, fog is something that's more associated, I would think, or as I've heard. Fog is something that's more associated with Neptune than smoke. And in a lot of ways, the two are similar, but fog is of water and smoke tends to be a fire. Let's read where about what about what about Neptune is number 9. Smoke is number 32. Let's read smoke. You don't want no smoke. Smoke is a tantalizing phenomenon. Stealth like and seductive, it swirls and twists, rising and disappearing. It travels great lengths with its signature scent, warning of a flame somewhere in life's laboratory. Oh. Such is the nature of the smoke card. When present, the senses are aroused and enticed. Yet the warning of fire cannot be ignored. What kind of smoke is it? Was the fire intended, a ritual, or an accident? Does the smoke carry notes of incense and herbs, or is it laced with the fear stricken scent of destruction? The smoke card asks us to wake up, to become alert to what is happening around us. Something burns. Those around you may fall under smoke's seduction, or they may flee in a panic. Don't get distracted by their response. Stay in your own laboratory and see what emerges as you study the smoldering veil. This is interesting. Where there is smoke, there is fire, and it's interesting again uh, the because of the flame, the internal flame. Maybe the shark can smell smoke, and the bat can hear the crackle of a flame. But I think Anima Mundi mentioned the fire. Right? You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. So, more light than fire specifically. Excuse me. Neptune, number 9. Neptune, that's 11. Neptune is the mystic's planet. Its transcendent energy projects toward the heavens. When the Neptune card appears, the seeker archetype is activated, and doorways to new dimensions open. A voice whispers from beyond the earthly plane, perhaps calling you to a pilgrimage or a new spiritual practice. Or you may experience a meditative bliss beyond your wildest dreams. Divinity has arrived. Whether you call it nirvana, samadhi, enlightenment, or just good old serenity, amidst your spiritual awakening, remember that ultimately the work is not about you. The work is about what's bigger than you. Stay grounded in that reality, and you're likely to avoid Neptune's pitfalls of narcissism and escapism. History shows us examples of spirituality turned madness, so keep your woo woo tendencies in balance with a little selfless service. Woo! Interesting. 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 Sulfur in reverse. I'm just curious. Hello. Hello. Excuse me. Temperance is the 40. No, temperance is the 50. Temperance is the 50 that was between the shadow and the anima mundi. I guess the question is again, can we differentiate the smoke of Neptune from the fog of Neptune? It doesn't matter. Um, Cool. So something about lunar eclipse in Pisces is igniting something. And then something about new moon, Libra, solar eclipse is to see what that flame inspires. Neptune is retrograde Pisces right now. Oh, yeah, but oh, Virgo season is coming to an end, isn't it? Meaning that this full moon lunar eclipse is going to be close to Neptune. Maybe not necessarily right on top of it, but I would assume, I mean, probably within the span of like a few hours, or maybe a little more than that, at least half a day. Uh, the moon is going to go from directly opposing the sun to conjuncting Neptune. And there's almost like something about the smoke that is unrelated to Neptune, but because Neptune is nearby, because I'm looking at something about the gold of smoke emits, like the gold emits the smoke. And then in Neptune, there's its own gold. And so again, it's like they're two completely different sort of things. But because this is so close to Neptune or on Neptune, oh my gosh, look, the moon. The moon is under Neptune. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What? And then Venus is under that. Venus is in like what, Libra or something? Um, yeah, again, I don't know. It's something that it feels like Neptune, but that's just because of its proximity to it. Again, it's like if you were to utilize non-visual senses, you would see, like, you would smell that it isn't fog. You would smell that it is smoke. Like, or you could feel the heat of the smoke, that it's like it's a heat that fog doesn't tend to have. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting on to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, when you find. Uh, and yeah, I'll see you the next time I see you, I guess. Thanks all for stopping by. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Oh, I have these here. I'm gonna put these away. I don't know. I kind of want to pull a card from a deck that I haven't used. Because of the unseen soul of the world, that makes me almost wonder if the smoke isn't intermingled with the fog. Because something about the unseen and the shadow at the bottom of that, I don't know, it feels like Anima Mundi in a way that maybe we haven't considered Anima Mundi. Or maybe Anima Mundi in a way that we wouldn't necessarily think of Anima Mundi. And then the Seven of Swords is here again. With that like smoky, illusory. Interesting. Or I wonder if, I don't know. It's fine. I will continue to wonder offline uh, because however I may interpret this or however this may resonate for me isn't necessarily how it's going to resonate for thee. So there we go. Can I reach it? Oh, I could reach the affirmator's love and relationship. So we're gonna get one of these, and this is gonna be our final. I don't know. I just want a little something extra. No problem. You're going, well, it revealed itself. Oh, okay, there we go. Boundaries. I claim my right to set healthy boundaries, and I allow others to do the same. Sometimes personal space is taken, and sometimes it's given. And sometimes, if you're on the subway, it's completely disregarded and shamelessly invaded. I guess it depends on the day. Is that a pig and a skunk? When it's like literally, well, I guess they're sitting in the middle of the sea. Boundaries is interesting because usually boundaries is associated with Saturn, but there are certain boundaries associated with Neptune. As much as Neptune can dissolve a lot of things, it also represents the boundary between the literal and the imaginal in a lot of ways, the physical and intangible. But it's a boundary in such an interesting way. Because again, just like the smoke can dance among the fog, so too does the spiritual entwine with the physical. So it is a boundary, but it's not, I don't know, it's such an interesting whatever. Bottom of the deck is curiosity. Meeting new people. I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious and you be interesting. Deal? Well, we got the lock in the chest, or the key in the chest with this boundaries energy. Cool. She's giving me enzymes. All right. That's what I got. That was it. I don't know if that whatever is, but do I ever know?